Brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Good morning. Welcome to Mornings at the Cabin for your Thursday morning. Is it Thursday? It is. I got it right. I got it right. Wheeler and Ollie with you on your Thursday morning. Lecter will be here soon with my chai latte. That's right. Already having a chai latte during this life change. But here's the thing. We had our first actual workout of life change last night, but it was more of an assessment. We get into the deeper workout starting tonight. So we did basically form, squats, sit-ups, push-ups, and things like that. And it's amazing just how quickly you realize how out of shape you are once you start jogging.
Yeah, we did what, a 6-minute workout at the end of that?
Something like that.
2 minutes of push-ups,
yeah.
2 minutes of sit-ups, 2 minutes of squats.
Yeah.
And really, it was just 2 minutes, but including rest time in there as well.
Yeah.
So it was not taxing, probably by many people's definitions. No. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm great. I feel good.
I feel all right.
I had a really good sleep, which is nice, because I tend to wake up a lot more. But I mean, that I know that exercise plays a huge role in that. My chest hurts, muscle-wise, not heart attack. Not heart attack-wise.
Okay, good.
Which means I had proper form on my push-ups. My abs hurt, which means I had proper form on my sit-ups. And my butt hurts, which means I have proper form on my squats. So feeling pretty good. I know there's a lot more to come. And again, I know for most people are that's all you guys did. It's well, yeah, just start.
It's life change level 1.
That's right.
Why we're in it.
That's right. Because we've changed from sedentary to not so sedentary. Right?
To glacial.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
I think it's kicking in. Mornings at the Cabin, Wheeler, Lecter, and Ollie with you on your Thursday morning. That was brand new Radiohead, Ill Winds, the new single. What's going on, Ollie?
I had a roommate at university in my first year who absolutely worshipped Radiohead.
Yeah.
And he was really annoying. So I have disliked them on principle.
Most diehard Radiohead fans kind of are.
16, 17 years. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain breed of individual that likes Radiohead. And good morning to you if you're one of them. That was for you. All right, steady over there. I know we've had one night of life change, but
I'm all right.
Good.
I just got a piece of toast cut in my throat.
All right, well done. Lecter, morning, Lecter.
I happen to be one of those fans.
Oh yeah.
But you're not one of those annoying
people.
fans. You're not like a Tom Yorkie.
Well, I didn't like their last album, so yeah, I'm not one of those annoying fans.
I didn't like that album they released for free, so.
I figure as a Brit lad growing up, you had to either like Radiohead, Oasis, or Blur, and you couldn't really fall into any of those other camps.
Well, you can't. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, exactly. It's not a Venn diagram where you can overlap. You can't.
Kind of like gang affiliations.
It's very difficult to profess yourself. This is in the UK, so if you're Canadian, you don't have to. We
don't qualify.
I kind of get it.
But in the UK, it was very difficult to be both an Oasis and Blur fan, not just in terms of the music, but because it's geographical. So
Northerners versus
Oasis
Southerners.
are a northern band, Blur were a southern
yeah.
band. And so, you could kind of get away with liking, Blur and Radiohead, but you would be very hard pushed to find anyone who'd be like, yeah, I'm a massive Blur fan and a massive Oasis fan, because it was a little tribal around, what part of the country you came from,
right?
As to what music summed up the 90s for you.
So when is your country just going to completely collapse?
Well, what we've done is we've appointed Noel Gallagher in charge of Brexit.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Brexit or Brexit?
Well, he will Brexit. Yeah, very good.
Very good.
What a Brextinct was my favorite headline of the papers yesterday after they voted down the deal. British tabloid papers are like the one saving grace of the country during moments like this, because they turn what is essentially awful news for everybody that could ruin the economy for years and plunge people into strife into a really snappy one-word pun. They took Theresa May's head, they put it on a dodo, they put it on the front page. Brextinct. But Theresa May's deal, dead as a dodo, the Sun. I'm like, look at that. Oh, bless them. They've made it relatively entertaining.
She survived the no confidence vote, though, right? So
do you want to get into this?
Everything's fine. I do. Not right now.
Not right now?
Because I want you to explain it all, because, I stopped caring about Brexit a year ago.
So if anyone needs to know when to go to the bathroom and stop listening, at about 7:35, we're going to explain Brexit.
Oh, it's going to be great. Brexit over breakfast.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast, where we delete all the bad bits and make them sound at least semi-coherent.
Ollie, You've been dying to talk about Brexit. Like every morning you put it up on the board, I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about it.
It's not local.
It's not really local. No. It doesn't really touch a lot of the check a lot of the boxes we're in. But you know what? I'll let you go. Just to start, before you get on your rant about it, not a rant.
Could be a rant. We don't know what to expect.
A lecture
may become a rant.
Okay, just kind of break it down in like 2 words. What's going on now? Like 30 seconds. What is Brexit?
Complete chaos.
There you go.
Very nice.
2 words.
Yeah. It's like
Right. 30-second summary. There was a referendum in 2016 whereby the politicians of the UK asked the public to vote yes or no to leaving Europe, because ever since the UK joined Europe in the 60s, there have been a contingent of people who say, well, Europe's no good for us because they set all the rules and they put all these restrictions in place and it prevents us from doing the things we want to do. And there are other people who say, well, that's nonsense. Europe is there for a good reason. We have all these trade agreements and everybody benefits from this and there's freedom of movement, so it's a good thing. And there's been those two camps. So eventually there was all this back and forth, and in 2016 they said, right, here's a referendum. And I think the politicians who held that referendum firmly expected there to be a, yes, we want to stay in Europe vote by a mile. And then that would be it put to bed. Instead, what actually happened is, and I may betray some biases here, but I don't mind saying that the campaign to leave Europe put out a lot of messaging that was at best shaky in terms of its factual reliability. And what turned out was a narrow majority of people voted to leave Europe, which nobody really expected, politicians least of all, and now they've got to figure out how to actually do it. And it's notable that most of the people who campaigned to leave subsequently vanished from sight the moment it turned out it actually needed to be done.
Well, I mean that's I don't think that's too biased. That seems reasonably well documented and accepted that the campaign to leave Europe was very, very heavily promoted with specious facts and logic.
Absolutely.
And the other side was just so confident that that wouldn't happen that they didn't really do much.
Yeah, that is it was a pretty lukewarm campaign to remain. Even the word remain, very difficult to get excited about remaining. Yeah. Do you want to remain? Oh, I'm really down for some remaining.
Yeah, so especially when they got the branding of Brexit. It's like Brexit or remain.
It was Remain didn't really take off.
Remain. Johnny Remain.
The problem we have now is, now that we've all decided apparently that we're going to leave Europe, nobody can agree on any of the options available. There are essentially 3 options. One of which is the deal that Theresa May has got, the Prime Minister, that just got voted down this week. One is stay in Europe and forget this whole nightmare ever happened. And the other is what's called a hard exit, which is just get to the deadline on the 29th of March and forget about it.
Cut the cord.
And just fall off the edge of the cliff, as it is portrayed, because there will be no agreement in place. And there are dangers around that in terms of even getting food into the country or medical supplies and things like that. The government has started running ads to warn people the potential consequences of this. Your typing is very distracting in the background. I'm
sorry. I am trying to communicate with our listeners.
Oh, I thought you were transcribing his Brexit explanation.
I was, actually. I'm just kind of going word for word.
Okay, I'm going to speed up then. I'm going to talk really quickly. No, it's not going to work. So, the issue with the 3 different problems is you got 600 people who this comes down to. You need a majority of those 600 people in Parliament, or 650, to get any of these deals done. But there is a massive chunk of them that don't want the hard exit, because that's going to be terrible for Britain.
Right. Yeah.
There's a massive chunk of them that don't want to go back and join Europe again, because the whole point of Brexit was that the people voted not to do that. So
we're too far in now. We can't turn back.
And right? And then there's a massive chunk of people that don't like the deal that Theresa May struck, because it seems like a bad deal for Britain and Europe's getting the best of it, and there's not enough in there to protect the UK's interest. So we've ruled out leaving, we've ruled out staying, and we've ruled out the compromise. Which presents a bit of a difficulty, because there is literally no other solution than leaving or staying or somewhere in between.
Right.
And yet we have ruled out all of it. Yeah. The only possible solution that seems to be there is to change the compromise to a different compromise, but the European Union has very clearly said, no, that is the compromise. You decide if you want it or not. And we've decided we don't want that, but we also don't want any of the other options. And now we've got 2 months and a bit to decide which of the three options, the only three options that we've already rejected, we're going to have. And there's nuances to this. So a lot of people are calling for what they call a people's vote. The implication somehow being that the first one was not a people's vote.
That's right. They had dogs voting.
It sadly was a people's vote the first time around. So this is like this is the people's redo. And on the grounds that there are a couple of arguments for this. The first is that you asked for this. You specifically said to me you wanted this.
I do. I did want this.
I think the listeners did, too.
I was hoping for more metaphors, maybe more talking animals or something like that.
Okay.
This is great.
Okay, so if you imagine there's a talking zebra named Bluey.
Yeah.
Now, talking zebra named Bluey stands for the idea of everybody was lied to during the last vote. So let's get going and have another vote because now they know the real deal.
Okay.
But a lot of people are saying that the talking zebra named Bluey is just a bit of a sour loser and just can't accept the result the first time round. So we've got all this yelling at each other, screaming at each other. All these people who voted no to Theresa May's agreement, she lost by the biggest margin ever earlier this week.
In history, yeah.
In recent history. In the 1700s, there were some bigger defeats. But, we've had a parliament for a while.
1700s.
So,
your country's so old.
In the 1700s, you got decapitated if you lost by that much. So, we've made some progress.
So she's doing all right.
Yeah, she's doing all right. But then the problem is that all of her own MPs, 100 or more of them, voted against her for that deal, but then voted to back her in a vote of no confidence the next day because they don't like her deal, but they still rather be in government than not in government.
Yeah.
And so we're in this hopeless situation where the leader of the opposition called it a zombie government because they've got this one, the signature thing of this whole government is this Brexit deal. It got voted down, but the government keeps voting to keep itself in power. So what on earth do we do? Which is why it's a mess, which is why I'm applying for Canadian citizenship. The end.
Oh, you're applying?
Oh, yeah, we do that.
I thought you weren't going to.
No, I've got to find the $600 necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, and become essentially seek asylum on the grounds that my country has gone nuts.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
Me and 350 million Americans. Can you make room?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's more like 50 million Americans. It's not as many as we think, right? It's not all of them.
No, it's true. But I would say probably at least half of the U.S. probably wishes it wasn't in the U.S. Right?
Oh, yeah, I would say half. That's a good 125, 150 million people.
I have slowly learned over the past year or so what it must feel like to be American when people look at you and are just like, so your country, eh? And you just have to be like, yeah, I know. Look, just don't talk to me about it. It's really quite depressing, and I'm sorry to the world.
Yes.
It is a little, I don't know what to think of the fact that when Donald Trump was on his campaign trail towards the presidency and people were saying, hey, you know what? So many people said it too. That if he becomes president, I'm moving to Canada.
A few have.
Not that many, though.
Well, I mean, a few.
And it kind of makes you think, did they decide, you know what? I'd actually rather put up with Trump than live in Canada.
Well, I mean, it's also like uprooting your entire family and moving to another country.
Is that a big deal?
Is that a big deal? Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think so. Now, okay, Ollie, to the important stuff. Obviously, Brexit is an incredibly serious story. Phoenix and I are going to the UK in July. What's gonna happen? Is it gonna be okay over there? Are we just gonna get slammed with stuff? What's gonna happen? Are we gonna participate in riots? I'd like to, but I mean,
have you seen Children of Men?
Yes.
So that.
Oh.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
Ollie is going to get his eyes checked. That's right.
I hope he gets glasses.
I hope he gets glasses, too. Last time he was in there, they said, no, you're not cool enough for glasses.
And just so anyone listening knows, that's not us being like, oh, I hope his eyes are failing. Wouldn't that be funny? No, he wants glasses.
It's part of it.
He wants that.
For me, it's part of it. It's part of it. I hope his eyes are failing.
At least something about the guy's failing.
Yeah, for God's sake.
Jeez, bring him back down to earth.
No doubt. Just up there off the earth. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so he's going to get his eyes checked. He'll be back in a little bit, and maybe with a snazzy pair of glasses.
Yeah, that would complete the image.
That right. That is right. That is right. I think he looks.
Who could not trust that guy with glasses?
Oh, so many people.
Yeah. Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Seeking asylum, that back door into the country. Terrible.
You pay your $600, Ollie.
Speaking of terrible for the country, Justin Trudeau. No, there's this awesome story. So obviously, like a lot of advertising, especially local advertising, they'll just grab pictures off the internet for whatever. Stock
it's
photos
free.
usually. If it's free, they'll do it. This one, it wasn't free. So this is a photo of our PM, Justin Trudeau, and the family canoeing. I'm not sure when it was used. It was probably used for like a campaign picture or something like that. So a really nice picture of the family all waving, and they're in a canoe because Justin likes canoe. It's great. But he originally tweeted this photo of himself in August of 2013. So when they announced they were expecting their third child. So before the campaign. But I mean, that's not really before the campaign. Like you start putting those feelers out there around that time. You're not
2 years before he became PM.
That's right. But I mean, around that time, you're making inroads, right?
Yeah.
You're pushing. Yeah. So, a company in Kentucky called Mammoth Cave Canoe and Kayak, just 1 mile up on the left, used this photo for their billboard.
Ah.
So it's a really nice photo. So like, I could just picture someone in Kentucky. It's like, I just need a really nice photo of a white family.
Preferably Canadian.
Preferably. And they didn't want to pay for it, so they just grabbed it off the internet. I wonder if they knew. I mean, they must have known because like the picture must have been labeled Prime Minister Justin Trudeau or something, right?
Maybe they don't know what Prime Minister means.
Maybe they know what Prime Minister means.
It's not a term that carries a lot of weight in the
That's
US.
right. So that's pretty awesome. And even Trudeau himself shared it. He retweeted the picture because, a U.S. tourism company grabs that family picture to promote their thing.
Right.
I just thought that was kind of funny.
That's amazing.
And that's kind of going all over the place right now. And it's been it was upvoted over 7,000 times on Reddit, and it was posted yesterday.
Liberal Canadians just setting their vacations to Kentucky.
That's right. Let's go to Mammoth Cave Canoe and Kayak.
Justin was there.
That's right.
Let's go.
Look at that. And who's that in the zip line? I don't know. Some nobody. Not the Prime Minister of Canada. Great.
I guess we'll see what their tourism numbers do.
Yeah, I mean, if they grabbed it on purpose, thinking that it would bring in some visitors, that'd be great. Personally, I mean, not to say anything about the people of Kentucky, but Kentucky's got a history of some things, and I think it was just I just need a picture of a really nice looking white family to promote our canoes.
I also have a feeling they have no clue that was
That's
the
probably
Prime Minister of Canada.
Yeah, like I said, just a nice looking white
Just
family.
a nice looking, smiling, waving, welcoming white family.
A waving whitey.
Cabin Radio's morning show podcast. All the best chat, none of the embarrassing mistakes.
In the world of toys, there are very few controversial toys of late. I mean, how many controversial toys can you think of, Lecter? Other than Barbie only being like a model for like 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, I feel like that this issue comes up more often than we're thinking.
Probably because like we don't have kids, so
no,
you know.
Yeah,
like there's like choking hazards and stuff like that. There's that kind of controversy, but then there's like stuff that like the very theme of the toy is controversial.
Yeah, right? I mean, we may frequent the toy aisle still at Walmart, but we just don't feel the same kind of controversy that an actual parent of an actual child does.
I suppose. I mean, is it really that different from owning a dog? Possibly.
There are no controversial dog toys as far as I know.
Oh, there are.
Are there?
Well, there are toys that they can like. There are toys that are made with like product, like with
different kinds
things
of
like that.
Yeah, different kinds of rubbers.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay. Or like like toys, like chew toys and stuff like that come apart too easily, and they eat.
Same with kids. Some chew toys they're not recommended.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just buy your kids really, really strong chew toys.
I'm sure if we really, really gave it some thought, we could think about controversies. We could figure out some controversial toys that weren't previously thought of as controversial. We could find a controversy within them.
That's right.
But yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Toy creator Yulu, which stands for You Only Live Unts, created a toy called Cut the Wire, which is a strategy game for kids. Now, the controversy around this is not that it's a strategy game for kids, it's the fact that it's a bomb diffusing strategy toy for kids. So basically what they're given is a little bomb with wires out of it, and you have to defuse the bomb without it going off.
Right.
That's the controversy. A lot of parents are saying it's inappropriate for kids, insensitive. Some people are calling it horrendous. They're asking for the toy maker and for Walmart, where they found it, to take it off the shelves. Because they think it sends the wrong message. Whereas I'm more of the mind that, like, listen, when the Great War happens and your child is going to be like, who better to defuse bombs than children with very small hands? They're going to have to get in the small, tight spaces where these bombs are going to be kept. And if we can teach them how to defuse those bombs, I think we're going to be better prepared for the Great War to come.
You might be onto something.
I am onto something. Maybe something.
As far as the controversy goes, I guess I could see why, you might not necessarily want your young, supposedly innocent child to be subjected to very real life, things with a lot of gravity,
There's a lot of
dangerous
gravity
situations, which is fair enough. But at the same time, it's not like it's a build-a-bomb game. It's a diffuse bomb.
That would be even better.
Yeah.
That would be even better.
We are removing the danger. We're working in a constructive, positive way in the face of danger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That would be great.
Maybe ages 8 plus.
Yeah. So not it wouldn't be in an IED, it'd be like an IEP, improvised explosive puzzle.
That's right.
So a lot of parents really unhappy. The company said, we created Cut the Wire as a fun strategy game for kids where the object is to defuse the device and be the hero. And now you look at the packaging, there's one kid very seriously trying to cut the wire.
I would hope he's taking it seriously.
Two kids in the background that are like, yeah, screaming at him. It's like, this is distracting. I can't defuse the device with you screaming at me.
They're creating a realistic scenario. They're providing the panic in the background. Oh, my God.
But, I mean, the kids look really happy about it. So it's not really panic. It's like, oh, my God, you're going to do it. You're going to defuse the device. It's going to be so much fun.
Excitement, panic. It's one and the same.
It's all a rich tapestry. On the box it says, defuse or lose. Cut the right one.
I mean, that might be a little.
That might be a bit much. That might be a bunch. Another one would be like, defeat the enemy. Wait, who's the enemy? Everybody.
Whoever made this bomb.
So Yulu has decided to no longer ship the game to Canada. They're only going to ship it to, I don't know, children in the States, I guess.
Right.
But some very concerned parents. There's a picture of one here. There's always a picture on CBC stories of the person's head and whatever they're railing against in the background. So there's a Walmart in the background. She just looks deeply concerned.
Yes, of course.
Just deeply concerned.
She's not going to smile.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Absolutely.
No laughing or smiling matter.
That's right. So Sharon Butler of London, Ontario, very concerned, but she's happy that Walmart is going to stop selling Cut the Wire. Of course, she did this interview while she was buying Grand Theft Auto 5 for her child. So this is another crisis averted by overprotective parents. Thank goodness.
I can't believe she walked right by the gun that makes the real life rat-tat-tat-tat sound.
I don't think they make those
They don't make those anymore?
I don't think so. I don't.
We had messed up childhood.
We did. A lot of real stuff happened when we were kids. So no longer shipping that to kid. I want to play this game now. If anybody out there bought it for their kid over Christmas, bring it by.
Yeah.
Bring it by. Or I'm just going to order it off the internet, and we're going to play it here in the studio. I think.
Let's give it a go.
It's for ages 6 and up. That includes us.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about it. 6 and up. Here's a bomb.
Yeah, but go with, go with 8.
Yeah.
Give them 6 and 7. They don't need that in their lives.
No, they don't.
By 8, it's time to get serious.
By 8, it's time to get serious.
Start defusing some bombs, kids.
Like the podcast? Listen live. Mornings at the Cabin, 7 till 9 each weekday.
Wheeler and Lecter with you, and back from the dead. Long time coming. Haven't been around in so long. Leslie Creed.
Hello.
How goes?
I know, it goes.
It's been too long.
I know.
How dare you?
I know, sorry.
Did he just show up out of nowhere without saying a thing?
I know.
Sorry.
You're not even making that up. She literally
walked in.
It's like, hey!
Hi.
Honestly, I saw Ollie yesterday, and I was like, I have Thursday off. He's like, come in. And then
Didn't tell
I
us.
figured he would pass the message along.
I guess he was just too distracted by the fact that he needs glasses.
Oh, well.
Maybe he didn't recognize
Maybe
you.
that
That's right.
is.
Vision.
Like,
Come
maybe
on
he didn't know
by,
who he
whoever
was
you
talking
are.
Whoever you are.
How was your holiday?
It was good. Yeah, it was quiet.
All right.
Yeah, it was,
Well, thanks for coming by.
family fun, cold, it was a holiday.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. You are now. Scott and I have been talking about this a while. You're on a 3-month no booze.
Yeah.
A dry quarter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's that going?
Well, I've had one glass of wine.
So you failed. You have failed.
Listen, it's not about failing. It's just about learning to live without it on a daily basis.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that would be something to learn. Most people I know that are doing these dry Januaries or dry quarters are more, they're not dry completely. They're less wet.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, even I'm having a dinner party on Saturday.
You got to drink for that.
Oh, it's been like, do we serve alcohol for everyone? Do we make mocktails? Like,
No.
how do we do
No,
this?
no, no.
You
Like,
serve liquor.
because it's a dinner party that's a point system.
BYO.
We want to win first place.
Oh, a point system.
But
Like
can
how
you
so?
do that without serving the liquor at your dinner party?
What's the point system? What do you mean?
Well, we're just doing like a couple groups of like a couple of couples are getting
okay.
together. We're doing our own like come dine with me Yellowknife.
Ooh.
So
What's on the menu?
I can't tell you
Yes,
because
you
they
can.
might be listening.
Oh, it's a surprise.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, you serve booze. It's a dinner party.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think I'd be able to make it through a dinner party without at least a stiff scotch. I don't like people.
Okay. So like go out and buy a couple bottles of wine is what you're saying.
Scotch.
Well,
I have scotch at the house.
There you go. Better for you than wine.
I was telling Jesse last week that Nicole and I have embarked on a dry January.
Yeah.
Less,
And
a
he,
less wet January.
A less wet January.
Yeah.
And he proceeded to tell me all the reasons why that was wrong and I'm a terrible person.
Yeah, like it's a lot of
mean,
people
you
are
do you,
shocked
dude.
when you say 3 months. Like originally it was going to be a year, but I was like, let's knock it down to 3 months and like see how we feel.
Like,
You
why?
know?
Why? I get it, but I mean, I think I guess what I don't really, I guess why I'm kind of not against it, but just kind of like, why? Because I don't drink that much. You and I were talking about that.
Yeah,
Like, we don't
and
drink
neither-
that much.
yeah.
Like, we go out, like, if you go to a bar, you'll have a few, you know, you're being social. It's a very social thing for me.
Yeah.
So when people are like, I'm going to give it up for a year. And then I know people that have done it. I give it up for a few months. I just felt so much better. It's like, how much were you drinking? That after like a couple of weeks, you're like, I'm a completely new me. It's like, how much booze were you packing away?
Honestly, most days I was having a glass or two of wine a day.
Well, that's fine.
No, I'm
good for
sure
the
it's fine. Like
antioxidants.
you're not like, you know, but it was like almost a daily habit, and I
Okay.
just don't want it to be a daily
Fair
habit.
enough.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I
like
don't- yeah,
it's
I
a
don't
large
put-
waste of money buying a
Oh, yeah.
bottle of wine every 2 days,
Especially up here.
Yeah, so it was like that was also one of the reasons I was like, I want to just like see how much money I save.
Yeah.
while
Yeah,
I'm doing
absolutely.
that.
I can see that for
I mean,
sure.
that's
Yeah.
No,
one of
and
the
I-
better reasons.
Yeah,
really.
and I understand the positive impacts behind it. Obviously, like if I drank less beer
Yeah.
occasionally, like I only drink occasionally, but like say something like pop. If I cut out pop, I'd probably just drop like 20 pounds, just without doing anything else.
Yeah,
Right. So if there are people who are drinking beer every night and they want to make that change, that makes sense.
Yes.
But for me, because I don't see past my own nose and like I don't really take in other people's like experiences as my own, I'm not empathetic.
Yeah.
So when people start talking about things that I'm like, that's stupid.
yeah. No, mine was just like waste of money. I didn't want to make it a daily habit, but even still, like last night after work, I'm like, oh, like it'd be so nice to go home and have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Which is like, you know, but that's how it's been going for the last 2 weeks. Like every day after work, I'm like, I want a glass of wine.
That'll go. That will go away.
I
though,
know,
think.
and that's the point, right? Like I just didn't want to like. I wasn't about to check myself into the Betty Ford clinic, but I didn't want to reach that point
the
either.
Betty Ford clinic. We just dropped into a 90s sitcom. Just go to the Betty
Who
Ford
goes
clinic.
to the Betty
That's
Ford clinic
rich
anyway?
people.
Anymore.
Yeah.
You're mentioning you're also making another life change early in 2019.
Yep.
Less waste.
Yes.
Yes.
But with a 3-year
Yeah, I'm giving myself
implementation.
3 years.
I mean, that one's different, obviously, because that's like we create so much waste on a
We
daily
do.
basis. Like,
Yes.
even more than you drink, we create waste.
Well, and that was part of it too. Like my no waste, giving up liquor. Like you do create a lot of waste
Of course.
drinking.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, like it's just, I don't know. I watched a program and like recycling's just not doing it for us anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And,
It's like
there are-
really changing your mindset and like
Yeah.
creating little waste.
Yeah.
Like trying to create less waste.
And there are programs in other countries that are basically telling people like recycling's just, it's not that it's not enough, it's
Yeah.
just that it's not doing it.
It's not.
Well, because
yeah.
I mean, like, in the recycling here in town, obviously we've gotten a lot better, but there's still things you can't recycle.
Yes.
And it makes it difficult. It makes it a pain. And we saw a picture on Facebook a few months ago of like a garbage truck that was like not tipped over,
Right.
but like
It had dumped its
It had dumped its load. And it was like 60% cardboard.
Yeah.
People just throwing cardboard into the garbage. And I mean, that one kind of pisses me off because cardboard is incredibly easy to recycle.
Mm-hmm.
Like put a tie around it and put it in one of the big blue bins. It's like the simplest one.
I know.
Plastics are the one where it becomes a little bit more cumbersome for people, but like creating less waste in any way we can is a good way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of great websites to like, but to teach you how to do some of these things. Like I just went over Sutherland's Drugs and found a new deodorant that's going to last for like years and cost me $5.
What?
Yeah, it's like this little crystal. Like you just wet it.
A crystal.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
you just
I see.
wet
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It works so good. It works so good. Like I do not
Really
smell.
cuts up your armpits.
That's right.
I'm really excited.
The blood is a natural deodorant.
I'm really excited for summer and like really put this deodorant to the test when I'm outside. Sweating it up or in the greenhouse. Like, I really want to know how well this crystal works.
I honestly thought you just meant like I put a crystal in my house and I don't
No, I'm not like a crystal freak.
It's like crystal energy. I've got a Himalayan sea salt lamp that kills all the stench on my body.
No.
It just pulls the sweat from your pores.
Well, the sweat energy.
I think it's called Tawas or something.
What?
But it's like this little square thing of salt. It looks like a huge cube of salt. Like that's all it is.
Cool.
My only complaint was that it came in a plastic wrapper and comes with a plastic dish.
Yes. And I mean,
but you can reuse that.
Yes, I figured I could. Not the plastic wrapper, but the plastic dish I can definitely reuse.
And waste was obviously pushed to the forefront when legalization happened because the government of Canada was like, how wasteful can we make packaging up 3 grams of cannabis?
I haven't bought it from the store yet.
Don't bother. God, I bought an 1/8 right before I left. I was at the liquor store buying some liquor for some people at work as a Christmas present, and I was like, you know what? I'm heading out of town today. I'll grab an 1/8.
Yeah,
because I mean, like, there's a nice little a thing that you like. It's nice that you can do that and like bring it on the plane. What's funny is that I'm
Still
more
pretty
nervous.
novel.
I'm more nervous bringing it on a plane now that it's legal than I ever was when it wasn't.
I know, right? It was
Not that
so
I did
easy.
that. Not that you ever,
I did.
ever
considered
flight.
that.
But like it was. I mean, it still did the trick, but it was so dry.
Yeah.
It was so dry to the point that like I put it in my fingers and I just gently squeezed it and it just turned into dust.
Right.
So like they are doing something awful.
But
there's been
but on the
complaints
waste
about some of
side
the.
of things.
On the waste side of things, there's too many containers.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
just
That you-
those standard big, like Vaseline tubs
Yeah,
for
that you
any
can't
amount.
that
They
you
should
can't
just have a
reuse.
bulk bin, and then you can bring in your container
Exactly.
and reuse it every single time.
But they don't have that.
Exactly.
They don't have that.
Well, hopefully
that's where it's
this
headed.
discussion will move them towards
Yeah.
that scenario.
Well, if anything does it, it's this discussion on a radio station that only a dozen people listen to.
you have more than a dozen listeners.
I think so. Thank you. Thank you. We are pushing a couple.
I know my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they were listening while they were in Arizona. They would stream you guys down in
Very
Arizona.
nice.
Hey.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully, they're in Costa Rica now, so hopefully they're still streaming you in Costa Rica.
Our reach just keeps
Scott
getting
and Ella,
further and
Barrow, Essex, if you're listening.
I kind of hope they're just enjoying Costa Rica.
further. For their sake.
Leslie, thanks so much for dropping
Oh
by.
my gosh, it's been a pleasure. I miss all these laughs. I haven't laughed so hard in a while.
There you go. I love it. We got some.
That's what a dry 3 months will do.
3 months will do.
We're only going into
I don't. Yeah.
almost week 3.
Almost week 3. I haven't laughed in 17 days.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca.